Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You must remember this, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracey.
Hello, everybody.
This week we're talking about movies released between September 21st and September 27th. We have Crocodile Dundee with 39 years. Mr. Saturday Night with 33 years, Dazed and Confused with the 32nd anniversary, and Almost Famous with 25 years. First and foremost, we do want to mention and talk briefly about Robert Redford's passing. He passed away on September 16th, 2025. We were in the middle of getting ready to do an episode that week, but then we found out about his passing, and it really did affect both of us because his films were so impactful, not just as fans, but as people, because of the influence that they had on us and our lives. And we were pretty much, we were actually watching Quiz Show at the same week, because Quiz Show was celebrating an anniversary that week too. And we were going to do a whole episode focusing on and talking about Robert Redford, but it's been a tough week, to say the least. So we decided to just take a breather and recompose and go on and move on, but we also wanted to mention and talk about what he meant to us a little bit. We made a list of films that really impacted us and were important to our introduction of him and his works and throughout the years. So with that said, hey, Mom, did you want to say anything first about him and what he meant to you?
Yes. I started watching Robert Redford films since I was a little girl. I've seen many of his films in the theater as well as on TV. Ones that he acted in as well as produced and directed. As we all know, he was 89 years old when he passed. But there's several that I have really made an impact on me. It's too many to mention, but some that I really love is This Property's Condemned, with Natalie Wood and him as the stars in the film. Not many people know about that film. Sidney Pollack was the director, which he directed Robert Redford in several films. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Way We Were. There's just too many for me to really mention. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid I actually saw in the theater, not the year it came out, but several years later. It was reshown in Lake City, Florida. And I was, as this young girl, I saw Robert Redford and how him and Paul Newman had such charisma together and how they worked with each other so well, even at that young age. I was about 10, 11 years old at the time. And I knew there was something special with Robert Redford. And even a year or so later, I saw him in Jeremiah Johnson. And then The Way We Were, I didn't see that film until it was on TV. And saw how he stood out. And so that movie still makes me choke up to this day.
Jeremiah Johnson's one of my favorite films of his, and I really think it's just so, it really takes you back, and it really takes you to a place that you've never been to before, but also feels so familiar as well. It's one of the quintessential films that really takes you and it makes you escape to a whole other world, and it's like time stops when you watch it. It's one of the films that I would say really introduced me properly to Robert Redford and his way of acting, as well as his way of bringing a film to life. I think it is the quintessential Robert Redford film, if I were to think about one. Besides Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it's an excellent film. There's other great films that are Robert Redford films, but when I think of him, I really think of Jeremiah Johnson and how he really keeps that movie and makes it so influential and profound despite being so simple.
It reminds me of Legends of the Fall in that way.
I do agree with that. It's just less intense, but it still absolutely has the same impact that Legend of the Fall does. Less cinematic. It just because Jeremiah Johnson just really takes you into like a real life story.
But it talks about the Native American and how Native American impacts society, and how
important it is that different cultures can come together and respect each other, and even in the most human way possible. It's a great film. I really loved it. My first real introduction to Robert Redford was in The Great Gatsby, and it was really, I watched it in high school. I've seen the movie a couple more times after that too, but I don't really believe, and this is going to be kind of a controversial opinion, I don't think anybody's really played a proper portrayal of Gatsby adapted from the books, but he was the closest one that's been able to do it. And he is Gatsby. Nobody else has been able to get close to him to playing Gatsby in a filmed setting, in my opinion. And he really made the mark of what it means to have that look and that feel to it as well. I thought he just did a wonderful job in it. All the President's Men, I'm a huge fan of, but I think he and Dustin Hoffman equally hold that film up together. They equally stand out together, and the film wouldn't be as great without either of them in their respective parts and roles. Which, this is going to sound a little silly to me with this next film, but I really do believe that he made this movie as good as it was, is Captain America Winter Soldier. Yes, it's a superhero film, but it's really more like a spy thriller than anything else. And despite how small he was compared to other actors in that film, he really brought and grounded the film. And I really believe that his influence as a filmmaker and as an actor helped make the film more realistic and give us some class to what was needed for that movie. And I really think he brought together, especially just every time I watch him and Samuel L. Jackson act with each other, you could really see it. You feel the chemistry and the friendship that they've had for a long time. And the way he talks about the way that America works and the way that the world works in his eyes and his viewpoint and his character's role, it's gripping. You can't stop looking at him. You can't stop watching him. And it brings me chills every time I watch it, because you just see it. He's taken over for those moments that he's in it.
He's so charismatic.
Yeah, and you believe it. You fully believe in what he's saying and what he's doing. And it sounds so simplistic to say, that because that's what an actor's supposed to do. It's just, he's in a different generation, and he's just a different craft. And it's one that sometimes I feel like we've lost, but then other times it brings up again too. I think he's just as important as an actor in that film as Chris Evans, as Samuel L. Jackson, as the other people in that role as well. So I think that film really did influence the way, and I started looking at what other films of his after Winter Soldier came out. So, including Jeremiah Johnson, not long after I started watching his other films on that one end too. So we definitely appreciate him and his works. As a director, going into it, just for a bit, he did Ordinary People. That was his first directed film, and it's just, I don't like talking about it because you have to see it for yourself, but it's so gripping, it's so raw, and it's just it's beautiful, but it's also so tragic, and it's something you got to see for the first time if you've never seen it before. It really makes you question a lot about yourself and about people and how people act about things. And we were watching Quiz Show, this happened this week too. And
it was the night before he died.
Yep, it was. We stopped watching halfway through to go to bed, and then the next morning, and the next day, and then the next morning we got the news.
And I just said the night before, I said, I love everything he does and has ever worked in, and then he passed away. Mm.
And it was really well directed film. We didn't really get to talk about it, but it was a very well directed film. I really like the little nuances with the camera work in some parts of the film too, without going into it too much. And then a few months ago, we saw The Horse Whisperer, which he directed and starred into. And I said this back then, I said this movie would not be as good without Robert Redford. And I still believe that to this day.
All these actors are coming out talking about how the influence he made on their lives. Mm-hmm. All these young actors and older actors are saying how much he impacted their lives.
So we wanted to take some time and, thank Robert Redford and for all he's done for film and for people as well.
He's a great humanitarian. He helped the industry of independent film with Sundance.
One day I'd like to go to Sundance. It'd be nice. Take a trip to Utah, January.
Well, it's changing now. It's Boulder.
Boulder, Colorado. You're right. Yeah, so that'd be nice. Good reason to go to Colorado. All right, we're going to move on to the films that we saw this week. First up, we're going to talk about Crocodile Dundee, released September 26th, 1986. Directed by Peter Feynman. It's written by Paul Hogan, Ken Shady, and John Connell. A journalist for a national newspaper writes a piece on a salt-of-the-earth Australian that's never left the continent. After a dangerous and exciting expedition through the Outback, she takes him to New York City, the concrete jungle. This was my first time watching this movie. I was going to also talk about real quickly that I know about Crocodile Dundee. Everybody's talked about it. I mean, it's a cultural icon in and of itself. Before I saw this movie, I thought this was going to be the campiest, just lamest thing I would have probably ever see. Because the way people talk about it, just thought, it's going to be whatever. It's going to be some campy, stupid movie, and just watch it and just try to enjoy it. And I was dumbfounded by how good it was. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I cannot believe this is the first time I've had a chance to actually see it. Did you see this movie in theaters?
Yes, I did.
So tell me about that experience. Who'd you go see it with? Take us back in time a little bit.
Okay, I went and saw it with my boyfriend at the time, and he was from New York, Long Island, and I'd been to New York at that time in the 80s several times, and so we were looking forward to it, and it was very, very marketed, so we were really looking forward to it, and I was wanting to see the New York scenes of seeing someone from down under experiencing the traumas of New York, because New York was known for being dangerous. Okay. So the marketing of this film was to show that the Outback was dangerous, but New York was dangerous. And we were really looking forward to this. And we both, even though he was older than me, we both were looking forward to this film. And it did not disappoint. Everybody who saw this film looked forward to it. I might have went and saw it again with another family member. I can't remember now. But I was so impressed with it, I wanted to see it with other friends and family.
You said it was a real word-of-mouth film.
Yes.
That's what made it successful.
Yes. And so I might have went and saw it with my sister again, or another, friends. I had lots of friends, and I was so impressed with it, I wanted to see it again and tell other people about it. So, and it spread like wildfire. Once you saw it, you wanted to see it again, or you told people about it. It became like it was like viral.
Did people dress up as Dundee to go see this movie after?
No, it wasn't like that. No, but people did say the saying, "This is a knife," and that was really. And Outback Steakhouse, I think, ended up opening up. Probably because of this. I can't be for sure.
I can believe that because it's got that very stereotypical Aussie accent, mate.
Yeah, and it got real popular, okay? And it just went like hotcakes everywhere. Everybody was talking about it.
Is there a moment that, like during the movie, that you remember in theaters that people kind of freaked out about or went crazy over or laughed at?
They were laughing throughout the whole film, and they're also, and people were loud in it, and,
So it was a real experience kind of theater, like a true experience to watch.
Yes.
Like it's a big party.
Yes, it was and people talked about it and went and saw it again and loved it, and so when you pulled up the Siskel and Ebert
So we watched the Siskel and Ebert review. I usually watch it and then just put on footnotes about the critic fact. But this time, because we happened to be in the same room, I thought, let's look up the critic fact real quick. And we watched the Siskel and Ebert review, and we were shocked.
Shocked.
Because Gene Siskel, they put the movie down pretty harsh, both of them. Gene Siskel said that the film was extremely predictable, and that he really liked the part when they were in Australia at first. And I agree. I think that was probably the best part of the movie, in my opinion, because I really was riveted by seeing what was going to happen next. But he wanted them to stay the rest of the time in Australia, and I would have liked that too. But then it would have turned into a ripoff of like Out of Africa, where it's like it's two people falling in love in a different country. I've seen that before. Going to see, spoiler alert, obviously, go see the movies for yourself. But going to see Dundee go to New York City, the concrete jungle, being able to see him react is what makes the movie so memorable.
How he's going to survive.
Yeah, this is a very predictable story. It's a very fish out of water. You know what's going to happen if you've seen a few movies. I completely agree. It's extremely predictable. However, this is different because the way it works and the way you want to see him react. You want to see what he's going to do because you don't know what he's going to do. I didn't expect half of the stuff to actually happen with him involved in it too, because that's how they made it. They made the movie unpredictable, and they made his character's role unpredictable and make it a not so predictable movie. And I really appreciated that. And Roger Ebert, he blasted the movie, and I think was the most outlandish thing that really irked me, but this is his opinion. He said there was no chemistry between the two actors, Paul Hogan and Linda Kozlowski, which I completely disagree with. I told you when we first saw this movie that they got some real chemistry between each other. I said they have real chemistry. And then I find out they got married not long after, which shocked me. I was just thought they have good chemistry together. I didn't expect them to actually have real chemistry where they actually got married. I was very surprised. Did you know this?
I don't remember it, but I guess I probably did know, but I've forgotten.
Small potatoes in life.
Yeah. I probably did know, but I've forgotten,
So looking back on it now, it's been 39 years.
But mention how much this movie made.
This movie had a budget of $8.8 million in Australian money. They only specified that it was Australian cash, if you will, $8.8 million. At the box office, in American box office or American money, it made $328 million.
That is, it's just like
it's insane.
It's out of this world.
That it became the second highest grossing movie in the world. The entire world, second highest grossing in the.
I'm telling you, I remember it was so outrageous. This movie.
I can see why. It's such a great film. It's a really great film. It's something that you can't recreate easily. I could see this being recreated, but it does everything it needs to do. I really have few faults in it. I think it ends kind of abruptly, but that's probably my biggest complaint about it, is that it ends a little bit too abruptly, in my opinion.
But that's... I don't remember thinking that it ended abruptly when I saw it. We just felt good that they decided to... She wasn't going to marry the jerk.
Yeah.
We were just happy she wasn't going to marry the jerk.
It's predictable. I saw it coming. Who didn't see it coming? But the way that they also introduced it was really unique and funny. They were using New Yorkers to help send the message to each other, and it was really fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think there's pretty much very few things wrong with it. Like I said, the ending is pretty abrupt, and I wish I'd had a chance to see more of it. In some way. Do you really think that is anything different from your thoughts on it from 39 years ago up till today? Anything you noticed that really stood out, like, I didn't really think about that, or whatever?
It didn't look as well filmed. Maybe it's the version we saw. It didn't look as clear and precise.
Maybe because they remastered it or something for DVD and whatnot. Because it was released on VHS initially. So
No. How we saw it was not... didn't look so nice this time on the TV. It didn't look so nice.
Yeah, maybe it's the version that we saw.
Yeah, because when I saw it in the theater, I felt like I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Australia. I was in New York City.
We probably got a lower quality.
Yeah, we had a lower quality. So,
I think it still looked great, all things considered. I really felt like I was taken back to that.
I wish it was a better version we saw.
Yeah.
So
We can get on Blu-ray, no problem.
but no, and I loved it. I love the party scenes that they showed of the 80s and the weird people. I forgot about the scene about the cocaine and the questions he asked. They were so they still are entertaining.
Yep.
Still, and you even said it held up today.
I think it really holds up.
You said it really held up, and for you to say that shows me that it was a great film.
I think it's a timeless film. I think it really holds up, and it takes you back to an interesting era and an interesting time, and it does a lot right, which is so nice to see. I would give it.
I give it a 4.
I give it a 4.5. It really surprised me. It really impressed me with what it was. I wouldn't say that it's a quality of I wouldn't say it's a quality of stupendous, fantastic. Excellent. I wouldn't put it on par with Logan Lucky, because I think I gave it a 4.5 or a 5. But I'd say that for a film itself, on its own, it really stands out, and I really had a thoroughly good time watching, and I'd be happy to see it more than a few times afterwards.
But the only reason I'm giving it a 4 now, because probably then I gave it a 5. But because I give it a 4 now is because things have changed. And there's some things that just I have questions about. That I think they could have done better. But I'm pickier now because it's been 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now pickier.
Yeah. I would probably get sick of this movie after watching it, a dozen times, but at the same time, I would still appreciate the parts in it that I appreciate too. That's why I would still it stands out. If I watch it more than a few times, I know it's still a good movie. I look forward to seeing this over and over again throughout the rest of my 40 years of watching movies too. That's for sure.
So 40 years ago, I probably would have given it a 5, and I went and saw it with my sister and other friends.
I mean, this is the height of 80s movies really coming out and really being stupendous. This 86, a lot of great 80s movies came out between 84 to 89. So I really think that at this point,
I'm telling you,
near the height.
This film was marketed so well and so intelligently.
It's to the point where it's still talked about to this day. Next up, we're going to move on to Mr. Saturday Night, released September 23rd, 1992. It was directed by Billy Crystal. It was also written and produced by Crystal, and he starred in it as well. This was written...
Yeah, go ahead.
It was also written by Babaloo Mandel and Lowell Gans. Excuse me for probably messing up the names. This was a duo that wrote a couple films, including Splash. That movie with Tom Hanks and... What's her name? So we saw that a few months ago as well.
Hannah.
Yes.
And John Candy was in Splash.
And Parenthood, too. They also co-wrote Parenthood as well. So this is a story about two brothers who become a successful duo behind the scenes and in front of the camera. And the film chronicles their lives in show business and their tumultuous relationship. Billy Crystal stars as Mr. Saturday Night, this great premier roast comic who ends up getting his own late night show that's inspired by both the comedians of the 50s and a little bit of Johnny Carson, because he has a Saturday night show that's really popular as well.
Johnny Carson didn't have a Saturday Night show.
Okay, but he kind of people know him as the leader of tonight, the late show king, essentially. And I think that's kind of how
he was not a Johnny Carson co-host. He was not a Johnny Carson host. He did not have a show that he had people that he interviewed.
That's true, but we didn't see that, though.
Nope, he did not have a show that he interviewed.
They didn't really talk about what the show was besides a monologue show.
No.
They had a little bit of monologue, and then they don't...
They have entertainers.
They have entertainers.
Yes, it was like Phil Silver's Sword. I try to tell you. It's like Milton Berle and Phil Silver's show.
So it's more variety.
A variety show.
Serious variety. Kind of like The Gong in its own way, but without the...
No, it was Phil Silver's and Milton Berle's show.
I didn't grow up with these shows.
Me either. But I know about the history of comedy shows. It was those shows. Okay. It's not Johnny Carson. Not at all.
So this is their attempt to bring people, like me and anybody younger into the light. And this also properly accentuates what the film is about too, because in the film he seriously blasts and puts down people who are younger than him, who doesn't know as much about the comedy realm of his day and everything like that.
Exactly.
Too.
And I'm not putting you down for it. I tried to tell you though, it's not about Johnny Carson.
It's hard.
Or Johnny Carson like shows. It's not about that.
But this just shows how people interpret things in interesting ways.
Yes.
About how they approach it. And this also kind of showed to me there was an issue with identity, to say the least.
It was not a Tonight Show.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a Tonight Show type sequence about that at all. I was disappointed in this movie.
I was pretty... This movie is exactly what I expected it to be. It is exactly what I expected it to be.
Not me. I thought it was going to be more entertaining.
Yeah, you would hope that for a movie about a comic, stand-up comic, that it would be more entertaining.
It became very negative.
It's very... So it's about these two brothers, and they're a successful duo in their parents' living room as great comedians, but then one of them gets stage fright at like their first big show, and the other one says, well, I'm going to go out there without you because I want to do this, and you're losing out on me. But they end up becoming kind of big stars of their own. The brother that gets stage fright, he ends up becoming his manager, his agent, his manager, his writer as well. While the big star, he's really good at roasting people and doing impromptu performances on stage, which is what makes him so popular and so famous. And he ends up getting his own Saturday night show, and he gets very popular. And it's about also switches them to them being old men. They flash forward through time, and they take you back in time where they're older men, and they're kind of breaking up with each other. And I like that family drama aspect of it. I really think, and their relationship and their chemistry is very strong. David Paymer plays his brother, and Crystal obviously plays Mr. Saturday Night. And I really like the relationship between each other. It feels very natural. And I do like some of the dialogue they have between each other, and it feels very realistic. But as we've been talking about the whole time, the film really suffers from a mixture of predictability and also about just things that... There's just a lot that's wrong with it in a storytelling and a writing standpoint.
There's things that don't add up.
No.
There's things that don't add up.
No.
So that's what makes it unreal.
There's a lot of things that there are some things that I do like that are realistic about his relationship with his kids and how he meets his wife. I think it did a good job of showing the problem that brothers can have when it comes to competing for attention and love, because we find out that his Billy Crystal's wife in the movie, she ends up marrying him, but at first he was noticed by the brother noticed her, and he really likened her. But then when she finds out that, oh, your brother is Mr. Saturday Night, can I meet him? He was so great in the show, and he's like, yeah, let's go meet him. And he was really disappointed. And I thought that was really realistic, and I really liked it because it showed their very difficult relationship with each other. And some of the payoff really worked for me when he finally tells him off and doesn't. You could have been nicer to me, and it was a great needle into the heart that makes him really question things near the end of the movie itself. But so much is just so... It's just Billy Crystal blabbering for 2 hours. And they make fun of it, too. The first part of the movie, they said that he's just got a mouth that doesn't know when to shut up. And he's like, where are you going? I'm getting away from your mouth. Because he just keeps talking. Just like I am right now. And he can't stop talking.
Well, I think there was some things that were not relevant that could have been relevant. And things that didn't make sense in the film. That was not written well. And I think that it could have been a great film, and it was not a great film.
Yeah, it really fell on its own face.
Yes.
It kind of had its head up its own butt. And I hate to say that about Billy Crystal, because he's usually a kind of a humble guy, but man, I don't know what he was thinking with this movie. I think they wrote too much of him into it.
I think that he witnessed some characters like this, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. There were things that were out of character for him, in my opinion, when he first meets his eventually new agent. I thought he was extremely, not just rude, but he was like really sexist and disgustingly rude to her, and extremely condescending, and it was completely out of character for me.
Yeah, but that was also another thing, was that they made her look like an imbecile.
Yeah, like a ditz.
And that doesn't make sense either.
No.
In the 90s, early 90s, women would be prepared. Sharp agents would be sharp and prepared. So nothing worked in this film to me. Nothing worked in this film to me. I didn't like any of it. I'm sorry. I was not impressed. And that's very upsetting. And I adore Billy Crystal.
I do think that I like the way that they kind of advertise this movie as Mr. Saturday Night, because it's not about him, it's about the brothers. But then the film advertises as if it's only about him. And I think that really does a good job with the symbolic nature of it. But that's an outside the film perspective. This is looking as an onlooker who just saw the marketing and how it was presented. I think it just really does a good job showing that off. And it's so funny that the film is it's really about Billy Crystal's character, but then his brother gets nominated for an Academy Award, which is really funny to me. The movie, written, directed, produced, starred in, but then his character brother character in the movie gets the Academy Award nomination, and he has to host the show, the Academy Awards, at the same time. I thought that was really funny, but that's like real life ironic.
I don't know.
I can tell you're really beat up about this.
I feel bad for Billy Crystal.
I think he did his best. I don't think he made a bad film. I just think he made one that, with his experience and career, I would have expected better. But,
But years later, he did... I forgot what year the City Slickers came out.
Yeah. I think that was... I wasn't prepared for City Slickers. Hold on.
It was similar years.
91.
Oh, year
before.
before.
So, a year before. It was
anyway.
just one of those things where it's like, what are you going to do? It didn't do that well. It did a $43 million budget, which I thought is insane for a film of this. This film does not look like it was made with $43 million. It looks like it was made with $5 million. Maybe 10. I would not think this was a $43 million movie. Do you know how much $43 million is?
Yes, I do.
That is so much money. And it does not look like it. It looks like a TV movie. It looks like it was made with a minuscule budget, and they had to try to make it work. And where did the money go? I really don't know where the money went. Was it the makeup? Was it? Because they did look really good with the old man makeup and everything on these characters, at least most of them. But I just don't know where the money went, because it did not look like a $43 million movie.
I'm no comment. I plead the fifth. I'm not saying.
Well, I'm not pleading the fifth. It went into Billy Crystal's pocket. That's where it went into.
I'm not saying.
Well, obviously he owed some money back because it only made $23 million in the box office. It just failed, which it deserved to fail. I'm sorry, but that's how the market goes. So, just like Mr. Saturday Night.
Everything's expensive in New York. They filmed it probably all in New York.
Yeah, probably. That's probably why, too. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to Dazed and Confused, released September 24th, 1993. It was directed by Richard Linklater, who also later did School of Rock, and written by Linklater as well. The lives of several middle and high school students are forever changed on the last day of school in 1976 in this slice-of-life time capsule comedy. This is the first time I ever saw this movie.
Me too.
I've heard about it.
Me too. And I'm dazed and confused.
I'm not confused.
I'm dazed and confused.
I am dazed.
I'm very dazed and confused.
Holy crap. Let's get into this for a second. Okay, so the first part of the movie, and obviously spoilers ahead, the first part of the movie has this whole big hazing thing, and I was shocked. We were both completely shocked by how brutal it was.
I am so shocked.
I was getting pissed.
It's not even the first part. It's throughout the film. It's throughout the film.
It is throughout the film, but it really hits you. It hits you like a paddle. On the first half hour of the movie, it's about these kids getting hazed. And I'm genuinely worried. Like, did this act? Like, there's no either this is a piece of crap. This movie's garbage because it's not realistic, or it actually did happen, because that's also possible too. We found out because I looked it up. This did happen in Richard Linklater's life. It happened in a small town in Texas, not Austin, Texas, where the film is based into. But it happened in different small towns in Texas. This was normal back then, in the 1976, in the Texas area, according to a lot of people that I was reading up on from forums, because I wasn't the only person that was asking these questions. Did these hazings actually happen? And it did. Apparently it happened in a lot of small towns, and it was tradition. These kids get beat.
In high school. Not in colleges, in high school.
Yeah, in high school.
They beat other freshmen. And seniors beat freshmen.
Yeah, and I thought that was so bizarre. And,
with paddles.
It's really sick. It's really, I was sick.
The other sickness is that the senior girls make the freshman girls do weird things and say, "Will you marry me?" to the
senior guys.
To the senior guys.
It was really bizarre.
And do all kinds of weird, bizarre things and make them suck on pacifiers. and then dirty up their clothes with ketchup and mustard and condiments and flour and all kinds of nastiness.
And this wasn't to a couple of people. This was like to the
whole class.
Pretty much the entire class of girls who accepted like the hazing, essentially. This wouldn't happen. This really wouldn't happen this badly, because there'd be, like I told you after we watched this movie, there'd be so many parents who would start talking to each other, who would start writing to, like, what's happening, why is this happening, and there would be fights. There would be riots, there would be committee meetings. They would have shut all this down and said this is never happening again.
I would think. And at one point in the film, a mother had a shotgun pointed at Ben Affleck's character. Which
I thought was the most realistic part of that movie. That is exactly what would have happened. He was chasing these kids into their house.
But he would have run, or he would have laid down on the ground.
Yeah, she pulls out this shotgun and says, "I'm not afraid to shoot your chest off." And he was like, "I'm sorry, man. I was just trying to show them an educated process." He was trying to make excuses, like, dude, you would have run, or you would have been peeing your pants.
Worse. And he would have laid down on the ground. He would started crying.
Yes, he would have broken down, because when you see a person with a shotgun pointed straight at you, I don't care who you are, if John Rambo, whatever, you would be completely stunned. This is a 17-year-old kid with a paddle, and he has a shotgun up to his face. Like, dude, there's no way you'd react this so nonchalantly. Which I would say Ben Affleck was pretty crazy in this. Seeing Ben Affleck in this movie was wild to me. I didn't expect that. He did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job playing this psychotic, very bizarre man.
It was too good.
It was too good. It's almost like it came from somewhere. Actually, I found out it did come from somewhere. He was inspired by his alcoholic father.
I told you.
Yep. He said he was inspired by his dad, who was a raging alcoholic. That's his words, not mine.
There you go.
And I can see it. I absolutely can see the unhinged, unexplained rage and, like, discontent. It's there. It's right there out in the open. And I gotta say, I really admire Ben Affleck in it. He did such a cool job. And he was like the Biff Tannen on steroids. He was really ruthless and cruel, and it really worked. It really worked for this movie.
The only thing I knew about this movie was that Matthew McConaughey became famous for his all right, mm-hmm. And that he got high a lot. That's all I knew. That's all I knew about this film.
Do you know where he said he got that from? He was watching a concert from The Doors, and at one point Jim Morrison's, like, in the middle of the music, he's saying, all right, all right, all right, all right. He does it 4 times. And he's saying, all right, all right, all right, all right, in 4 sequences, and he got inspired by it, because he wanted to kind of live in that more laid-back nature. And that's where he started doing all right, all right, all right. And it came from there. It came from The Doors.
Well, that's all I knew about it, is that, but I didn't know it was about this hazing and all this torture. To me, it's torture.
It is torture. These people are they're getting beat. They're getting bruised. They should be getting bruised. They're like bone broken. They had to tell some people to calm down, because they were really paddling them hard and stuff. And it was so weird. Okay.
And then the beer.
Those kids were drinking beer everywhere. Where are
they had
where are the cops? There's no cops anywhere.
There was.
This is the last day of school, and the people are recklessly.
The trunks were full of beer. I mean, trunkfuls.
Yeah, literal trunkfuls of beer. And
then they throw the beer, full of beer, the bottles on the ground like it was nothing, like it didn't cost anything. And beer's expensive.
Yes. And on top of that, there's these people are driving recklessly. They're driving around city streets. They're driving into lawns and neighborhoods. They're driving into people's lawns.
They're chasing each other. They're chasing.
Yeah.
They're chasing.
It's like Mad Max out there. And
during
there's
the day.
It's the middle of the day. It's like, what, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? And there's no cops anywhere.
Doesn't make sense.
None of this would happen. I don't care if it's a movie. Like, there's suspension of disbelief, and you're supposed to be. This movie is described as we're taking you back to this era.
That's why I'm dazed and confused.
Like, I'm confused. I will say, overall, did I enjoy this movie? You know what? I will say that I like this movie. I will. Because it shocked me, and it also brought me into a new light of things. I do like the way they not only showcase this craziness, but they do comment on it. They do talk about the hazing afterwards. In different sequences, they talk about, man, why do we do this every year? And the guys respond, it's just tradition. And said, yeah, but it sucks. And they really do talk about the expectations these kids have from their parents and their coaches, and they talk about how stupid some of the things that they're doing are and why they're doing it. I really like that about it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The only thing I liked about this is the music.
There was great music, too.
There was great music in it.
Tons of great, interesting music that really worked and flowed together.
And I don't know how they got that music approved and paid for it.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Detroit Rock City, where it's like people know people.
Now, we know how that got approved.
Yeah.
We know how that music in that movie got approved. But this one,
I don't know.
It had some really good music.
So I would say I like this movie. You know, despite all of it, I was entertained. I could probably watch it a couple more times.
I was just shocked. I was just totally shocked.
It's nothing like we expected.
No.
So, do you think anything could have been done in the movie to make it a better experience for you?
Everything.
Okay. Was there anything positive you liked about it?
Just, I like Matthew McConaughey. Mm-hmm. I did. I liked him. That's about it. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of who else was in it.
To me, it felt like a sequel to American Graffiti, like the unofficial sequel to American Graffiti, because it kind of take you back, and it's filmed the same way. In my mind, it's kind of filmed and recreated in a similar vibe, but it's like instead of the 60s or 1960, it take you back to the 70s era, what people were into and everything. And I do miss the days where people didn't have phones, because I lived in the era where the iPhone was just coming out in high school, so. But we were still getting to know how social media worked and how phones worked and how influential that was. I do miss that era where people were able to spend time with each other without being focused on phones and devices and whatnot. So it was kind of nice to see that again in a different kind of way.
That's all I can say. I didn't know anything about it. I just heard about it, and I did not hear that it was about hazing. I did not hear that. Mm-hmm. But I give it a 2. The music, I give it a 3. But I shouldn't like a movie because of the music.
No, just anybody could put a good soundtrack up there. That shouldn't make it like the defining feature of the film. Makes your stars.
Well, let me tell you something. There's movies that I've seen that I go, oh my gosh, I can't take this movie because the music is so terrible.
Yeah, that's true though, because they added something that's not so great.
So it made me go back in time. That music was authentic. We're
looking at a list of films that we own. One of them is Premium Rush, and I would say that Premium Rush wouldn't have been as good without the music.
Okay, so the music made that movie. It made me go back in time. They had Schools Out, okay, by Alice Cooper. Okay, so it was perfect. It came out right then. There were songs right then and there that was popular. That was so important.
I give it a 3. I think it faltered on some ideas, but I think it did a good job about what it was trying to do. And I could see it a couple more times, but I'll never forget my first time watching it. That's for sure. No. I will never forget. Never.
You didn't give it you didn't tell me what your rating was.
I said I give it a 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I give it a 3.
I'm still thinking about the music.
Yep. I would give it 3 stars. I think in some ways it does hold up, but man, it's just never forget your first time seeing it. I really will not.
Nope.
Last but not least, is Almost Famous, released September 22nd, 2000. That's when it was released in wide release. It was released, like it was big time. It was released in other aspects of it beforehand, like a lot of other movies before it. Excuse me. It was directed and written by Cameron Crowe, who also wrote Jerry Maguire and Say Anything, and really was a director in that aspect as well. A 15-year-old aspiring journalist joins an up-and-coming rock band in the 1970s at the height of the rock and roll movement, experiencing love, loss of innocence, and the tumultuous journey of being on tour.
Now, this is based
on the true story of Cameron Crowe and his life as a rock journalist at the Rolling Stone magazine. And he was in the Rolling Stone magazine in the movie as well. He was a 15-year-old kid, but they didn't know he was 15. They just thought he was a journalist.
Okay. During the watching of this film with you, I kept saying, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. I don't remember that. I don't remember this. For some reason, gosh, I can't remember this. And then you tell me.
Okay, I didn't know. Until we looked up afterwards. This is when we saw the runtime. It's at 2 hours and 41 minutes. I was like, "That's a long movie. This is a long movie."
I kept saying, "I don't remember that part." For some reason, I just can't remember.
It turns out we watched the bootleg cut, quote unquote, which is like the director's cut, essentially.
I was like,
so we watched a lot of parts that weren't intended in the theatrical release of this movie.
I was like, I don't remember that part.
But I'm glad we got to see it because we got to see the director's real vision. It's over 35 minutes of extra footage, but it really helps glue the film together.
But it made me realize I wasn't crazy. I didn't remember certain sections. I was like, I don't remember that.
So this movie is starring Patrick Fugit, who is the kid, plays the 15-year-old kid.
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah. Kate Hudson, Frances McDormand, Billy Crudup, which I think this is his best movie. His absolute best performance I've ever seen in my life. I've seen him in a few things too. Jimmy Fallon makes an appearance. Jason Lee, who plays the lead singer of the band. Philip Seymour Hoffman, who you said was your standout. So this was really something. My first time seeing this movie, was this your first time seeing it? You said it wasn't, but it was your first time seeing it did you see it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters. I was looking forward to this film.
So who'd you see it with?
I think I saw it with my friend Karen, first time. And I might have went and saw it with Roxy because they had so much Led Zeppelin music with it. But I can't remember.
So where was I?
You probably were in school.
You watched it as a matinee?
Yeah, I went and saw matinees all the time. Sword. It was less expensive.
Well, plus you had some free time, too, because you were doing so well at your job as well. I'm sure you could take an afternoon off every now and then. Or like a morning off.
Or go on a Saturday, whatever, and you probably got friends or whatever.
Yeah, probably. I'm just making fun of you. I'm just pushing your buttons.
But it was a big deal about Kate Hudson being in this film. Because she was Goldie Hawn's daughter, and she looks so much like Goldie Hawn. Okay, everybody was saying, "Oh, Goldie Hawn's daughter, Goldie Hawn's daughter. This is her big break, you know." And Frances McDormand at the time was not a known person. She was not a big.
But she still acts like she has in every single movie she's ever been in. She acts exactly like I'm important. You're going to notice me, and you're going to recognize me. So
Jason Lee, I cannot pinpoint where we've seen him before.
So how I know him, and thank God I know him in this now. He played the human lead in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie later on.
That's right. But what's his real? That's nothing. Okay. What's his real? It's like driving me crazy. Like, what's his real big?
So let me double check here.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
He was in Jay and Silent Bob, but you probably wouldn't know that one. Clerks. Was he in Clerks 1? He played Earl on My Name Is Earl. That's it. Yep, I remember the adverts for that show.
Oh my gosh, driving.
My Name Is Earl. That's it.
That's it. So anyway, I loved all of the chemistry between the band members.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was so good because I have hung out with a lot of band members throughout my life, as you know.
Not as groupies, but as Band-Aids, as they call it.
I've always stolen that line.
It's groupies without the sex.
I've always stolen that line because I love it. I think I'm a Band-Aid because I love music and I love, and I've been around music all my life.
But it's funny because Kate Hudson's character, she introduces the idea, Penny Lee. She introduces the idea that
Penny Lane.
Lane, thank you, Penny Lee, Jason Lee.
Do you know where Penny Lane is from? It's from the song from the Beatles.
Okay.
So it bothers me though because she is not that way. She really is a groupie.
Yeah. She says, we're not here for the band members. We're not here for the sex. We're here for the music. And then she has sex with the band members. I'm like, so you're not a Band-Aid. You're a hypocrite. Got it. Understood.
And it really, it does not hold up.
That really bothered me.
It bothered me too because it does not hold up.
And this is a good segue to go into. I have to say this. I could not stand Kate Hudson's character in this movie. This was the most insufferable role I've seen in years. I cannot stand her in this. I don't know if
it's the character. It's not her.
It's really not her.
It's the character.
She does such a good job playing this.
I know.
I cannot stand her character. I just think she's written awfully.
But she plays it so well, though.
She does play it so well. She plays it
so well. So well. That's not fair to her.
I'm not saying that to Kate Hudson. I'm saying that I could not stand her character. Like, her character is written very badly, and I told you this was
not written badly. It's what Cameron Crowe wrote.
I have disagree on some of those parts because you're right. You are right. But what was so important is that when at the end of this movie I saw this and I said to you, I don't know why she's the face of this movie. This movie is not about her. It's about she's in it, absolutely. But there is in no way, shape, and form she should be the face of this film. It's not about her at all. It's really about him and how he sees, like the journalist, and how he sees things and grows. She's an important aspect of it. But the movie should not just have her face as the title, in my opinion.
You didn't get the movie then.
I did get the movie. But it completely...
He was so enthralled with her.
I did... It completely squanders him and the actor, and I almost feel bad because he's such a pivotal part of this movie. But every time you hear anything about Almost Famous, it's about her, nobody else except her. But it's not about her because so much of it is also about Billy Crudup and his character. It's about Jason Lee and his character. There's so much other aspects of the film,
of course,
that are not about her at all, but the film is advertised to be about her, only her, and that really bothers me.
That's just the poster. That's just the poster. However, as you get more deeper into the film, you see why he's so...
She is his first love. Simple as that.
That's his muse.
Mm-hmm. And I really do think they did a good job of really showing off that... because it does take me back in time to when I was that age, and I was laundered and interested in women in that way, shape, and form. I'm not going to get into my personal life, but I know how he feels. I really do. And so it bothers me because I also know how it feels there. But at the same time, I do believe that...
I think there's something missing in the film where they don't show her intelligence enough.
Yes. They don't do her... They really disrespect her and her character.
They don't show her intelligence enough. They don't show her intelligence about music.
They make her a floozy. She says, I'm not a floozy, and then she ends up being a floozy. And I think it's really disrespectful to her character.
Yeah, I don't think they show her intelligence enough about music.
No. They really make her just another one. And they treat her like another one. And then she gets all upset because, I'm not another one. Yeah, but you are, though.
But they don't show her intelligence enough.
No. But he sees it. He does see it. But every time he tries to show her that, hey, I see you, she's like, you're cute, but you're 15. And she just pushes him away.
But nobody else knows that he's only 15.
Yeah, only she does. Which is really funny because can you not see he's in high school? It's crazy. Going into it, what did you think about the other actors in this movie? Who really stood out to you?
Well, like I said, Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think that he should have been more in the film. He was so good. anytime he really just. And
I thought it was wonderful. I really wanted to see more of him in it.
And my favorite scene was them when the plane was about to crash. That's my favorite.
That's the best scene in the movie. That's the best scene in the whole movie because everything it's a huge climax. Everything just falls.
Everything's falling.
Like the plane.
Everything's falling. Everything's falling.
And everything afterwards so realistic.
And at the time, you were getting bored with the film, okay? And you were on your phone. And I'm like, you've got to watch this scene. You've got to watch this scene. And you're like, what? I said, something. You got to see this.
Well, then, no, you know what? What was happening also is that I went to go get some ice cream. And we had the movie on at the same time.
Okay.
And you said, you got to watch this. Hold on. You got to watch this.
Oh, my God. Classic.
So
classic.
does this film have any does this film change? Okay, besides the 35 minutes of extra footage, does this film change your mind?
It changed completely in my estimate because I don't remember the beginning about him being a little kid. I don't remember that part at all. I don't know where that came from. I was like, I don't remember that. There's some things I was like, she wouldn't be in. Remember, I said she wouldn't be in rollers. She wouldn't leave her with her boyfriend, her mother, with rollers in her hair. There's some stuff in there that I don't remember at all.
His sister, played by Zooey Deschanel, which I think she did pretty good in this. Although I don't like her that much as an actress, I thought she did a pretty good job in this movie, despite for the small role she was in it.
But at the time when I saw the movie, I liked it a lot more than I do now. There's some things in there that I didn't like. I don't like some of the characters that played the Band-Aids. Mm-hmm. I thought, oh, those girls don't look like typical Band-Aids or / groupies that I remember.
Do you think it deserves all the talk and the praise and the what's the word, like the household name? Because it's a household name for a lot of people. This film is. Do you think it really deserves it?
I mean, it's part of history. It has to. But I think that it's Cameron Crowe's interpretation. So everything gets exaggerated. Okay, yeah. Things get exaggerated, and I think some things weren't told that should have been told.
There's a part near the end of the movie that was really essential to the story that I really, and you know this because I was there when you were there when I reacted to it, it really pissed me off. Where I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I'll say this thing that was pivotal to the story happens, and I said to you, this would never happen. There's no way that would ever happen in this scenario, and this ends awfully. Now, it kind of redeems itself a little bit, but at the same time, I really do believe that none of that what happened in that moment would have happened.
They paid too much for him to go on tour with that band. They paid too much for him to go on tour with that band to do that story.
Yes.
That would have never happened.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever, never.
So, it's just, that really showed to me that the writing has not a lot, but it has some serious faults in it where weaknesses that shouldn't be. But overall, though, I think it does a good job telling a skewed viewpoint of somebody's perspective on that scene and everything, on the whole scene of the band scene and the tour. And it was, some of the scenes were so pivotally excellent in this that I really appreciate too. There are some things to appreciate that I enjoyed.
There was some music that I think that shouldn't have been in that.
Absolutely.
That they would not be singing Elton John. They were a rock band. They would not be singing Elton John. Mm-hmm. Nothing against Elton John. I love Elton John, but they would not be singing Elton John.
It just wouldn't. It didn't fit their personalities at all.
No.
At the very most, I could see them doing singing Saturday Night because that's like a party song, but that's it. It's not their genre, man.
They would have sung a ballad like Beth, mm-hmm. or a ballad of some rock song by Kiss. Like I said, Beth, but they wouldn't sing Elton John. It didn't make sense. A Leonard Skinner ballad, but they wouldn't sing mm-hmm. Elton John.
Nope. So, what would you give this movie out of 5 stars?
3.5.
I give it 2.5.
And see, back in the day, I would have given it much higher because they played Zeppelin, you know.
Mm.
So I was so, wow, they found out playing Zeppelin because Zeppelin was my favorite band.
Yeah. I think it had a lot of good ideas, and some of it executed really well, but a lot of it executed really badly, really poorly. And I'm stunned that it is as almost famous as it is and as accoladed as it is, where I really feel like this was more middle of the road than anything else.
But Jimmy was really good in it.
Jimmy Fallon, yeah. He ended up playing like that second manager, the manager that came in to replace the first manager, and I did like his dialogue in it. I think he did fine, but he didn't really stand out to me that much.
He didn't look like Jimmy.
No, he didn't. He looks like how he does now. Like he put on a costume for his Tonight Show gag. He looks like that.
And Jimmy's really ashamed of his role in that movie.
Because he played a jerk?
No, because he feels like he feels like, you know, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Jimmy is so critical of himself.
He is. Well, I'm glad he is, because you know he deserves to feel like he deserves better for himself and other things too. I think he did pretty good, and you know, I think he did fine. I like the dialogue. I like how important it was to the band itself too. So, well, we had quite a week, didn't we? Watching some of these movies. I'm burned out. I'm dazed and confused. So this is a great week, and thank you all so much for listening. And rest in peace for Robert Redford and his family, and you know, all our thoughts to his family as well. And it's the next couple of weeks are going to be something else. We're going to be taking a break in October as well, but we will be back. But we're going to keep on trucking, and we'll let you know when our breaks are going to be too.
Trucking?
Yeah.
Keep on trucking?
I don't know. It just came to my head. All right.
Trucking?
Don't you judge me.
Did you say cauliflower?
Did you just say cauliflower to me?
Did you just say trucking?
The last time you said cauliflower to me, I was
in
juvenile
detention. Say trucking?
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.